democracy for your ideas or viewpoints or your comments. And then, it's speaking from some Brazilian fucking embassy. And then
bingo, that's the guy.
and then when you go in there and say, here, challenge me, or come up on stage and challenge me, what do? They run and create a room, and then they have these whole socialites, oh, like, I know best. Dude, you played a guitar your entire life and were a welfare cuck. That is the extent of what your contribution is. Like, don't spare me with your fucking intellectual knowledge on how the U.S. government and geopolitics and how cultural wars are significant to you. Like, peace, love, dope. You should have stayed in the 60s.
Well, that, if I may very quickly, that room that both of you are referring to is admittedly an echo chamber. They don't want to hear opposing opinions. And even if you're in the audience listening, my understanding is if they know you to be, it could be very respectful, very well-versed, very expressive, but it's the opposing opinion, they will kick your ass out of there.
That's why I miss Greg Sattel. I honestly do. Having met the guy, I miss his dog walk rooms. I could argue with him till he would get mad as hell. But you know what? The man would sit down and have a beer with me.
Greg?
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, I met him. And I coffee with him. I totally agree with you. You can sit down and talk with him.
Yeah, I love him. I love the man. I still consider him a friend today. If he called me up and said, hey, I need you here, I'd show up. I'd be let's rock and roll.
So here's the difference with Greg and those people, because he agrees with them on like probably 98% of the issues. The difference is he also, as a first principle, is a heterodox thinker, and he will allow room for you to disagree. And so he was, I don't know if you guys remember, they tried canceling him and went into this big old thing about how he was such a bad guy and a misogynist and this and that and the other thing. And I disagree with Greg on virtually everything, but I have a lot of respect for him in the fact that he can represent what he believes, and he can have a conversation with people, like just as you were saying, you could have a beer with them. The difference is that he's not threatened. Like when you start taking these political ideas and then like make it part of your personality, then when somebody disagrees with you, you feel like like threatened in some way. And I think that the intelligent people, and Greg is one of them, are able to have those conversations without feeling threatened because he genuinely believes he's right. He genuinely believes that his ideas are best, and so he's willing to listen to yours, and he'll try to convince you where you're wrong, and have those conversations. The others, they don't want to have that conversation, and they don't want to have that conversation because they just don't have the depth. And so that's the thing. When they try to dismiss you like that, they just don't have depth.
Well, it's similar to there's a couple other rooms that are run, like the one that has Alzheimer's thinking forum. That one is again, it's just a collection of people, and not all of them, but it's like any amount of disagreement is immediately condemned and shot down, and it's like it turns into a whole rally. And like Greg, you're right. He would allow an argument, but he would believe he's right. But I also have watched Greg concede that he's been wrong, which is really great. I've been wrong many times, but Greg has also conceded on that front, and it was respectable. And again, I can admire somebody. You can come from a different lens. Like, we're good. We can still have a beer and still watch the kids play together and have a great time. But I don't know. Some of these other rooms, it's just I don't know where to go. Like, I gave up doing political rooms for a reason, Roger, because it was just, everything Trump bad. Nothing in this country was ever really discussed at a high level, and then it just kind of got boring.
I mean, the irony with Greg is that when we met, we're like from kind of the same neighborhood, grew up very similarly. We have like a million people in common, but we're basically, it's not that we were so different from each other. There's very different viewpoints, but culturally very much similar. And there were